Hello everyone, Macton here, and while I normally do Let's Plays, I thought I should do something different here on my channel. Something that is backed by the United States of America, but it is controversial and will cause a lot of debate. Basically, most of the things here in America that's controversial and cause a lot of debate. But I will do a review. That's right, I'm going to be doing something that's made up at least 60% of videos here on YouTube and make guys like these famous. Now, what game am I going to do, you wonder? Well, it's going to be Jak and Daxter, since I just recently Let's Played the game and noticed a lot of few things on here. It's more of a rant than my thoughts on the game, to be honest with you. So with that being said, let me just say that Jak and Daxter is a pretty good, solid game. One thing I noticed while playing the game is how much it changed so much compared to the next two games after that. I'm sure most of you people who watched or played Jak 2 and 3 because, well, we all know there are a lot of ways of doing that, knows about the changes made compared to the first one, with one of the changes being Jak. Now, all of you know this, but Jak doesn't speak. He's a silent protagonist. Now, I don't mind silent protagonist characters as long as the game developers can make up for the lack of the main character not speaking. Did Naughty Dog do that in this game? Well, in a way, yes. The game looked good with each level being different one way or another, with Snowy Mountain being one of them. Even if the ice physics were sometimes a pain in the ass, but it helped make the level feel different. What also helped make the game feel different were the no loading screens whatsoever in that game, which, to be honest with you, I didn't even notice, and not seeing a loading screen really does help make the world of Jak and Daxter seem real. With that being said, let's talk about the gameplays and the monsters in the game. Design for the purple lurkers look good, as does most of them as well, but to be honest, I just wish that Naughty Dog would make more different monsters other than lurkers, like different types of species, for example. As far as I can remember, there were snakes at the Forbidden Jungle, but that's it. The gameplay is solid, the controls are tight. It does get a little, well, I guess wonky a bit when it comes to riding the zoomer, but it's also good to ride the zoomer. There's not really much of a pain when doing so whatsoever. Jak doesn't get any permanent power-ups, he only has the permanent moveset that he has at the beginning of the game. Jak has the basic essentials when it comes to games like this. He can jump, double jump, take a few hits, and he's got a moveset, just as you would expect. However, if he touches any one of the colored eco, he happens to get new abilities only temporarily. With that being said, I gotta give a shout out to the yellow eco, because that's probably my favorite eco in the game, seeing how you can take out enemies from a distance. It becomes very useful, especially in the final moments of the game, where you can only take up to at least 4 hits, and there's a lot of enemies coming at you. It's kinda sad that the ecos were never really seen again in Jak 2 and 3. I know there were some eco that made a return that Jak can use in Jak the Lost Frontier, but the game, from what I've heard, is not very good whatsoever. As for the characters, each one of them have different personalities, even the minor ones. But the villains are forgettable, honestly, to me, as they don't really do anything that makes them stick out. They basically follow some of the same cliches that I'm pretty sure you guys would already know by now. It is kind of sad that the minor characters aren't seen again because, well, of the events of Jak 2 and 3 and the setting of Jak 2 and 3. But honestly, I think the characters' personalities are good and they help really make the game stand out. And the voice actors do a really good job voicing the characters too, I have to admit. Now, with the characters being said, I need to talk about Jak. Now, if you recall earlier, I talked about how much the next two Jak and Daxter games changed a lot from this one, especially Jak. Well, you see, when I was playing this, I noticed there were a lot of characters with their personalities. But when I look at Jak, he just seems bland to me compared to all of them. Now, I know that Daxter does all the talking, in which, by the way, I have to give props to the actor for Daxter, because he really does a good job and really makes the game entertaining. But anyway, as I was saying, Daxter does all the talking and Jak does all the doing, but for me, when you're doing a silent main character, you need to make up for the lack of the silent main character. What do I mean by that? Well, when you're playing a video game or watching a movie, the movie/game tends to focus on the one thing, the main character, the protagonist. But what's the point on focusing on that one protagonist or protagonist if we don't know anything about them? Well, the most obvious way we can get to know about a protagonist is the way they talk, or how they talk, or the way they talk to other people. You starting to get what I'm saying here, people? Now, although Jak does have expressions and he does seem to have a crush on Kira, he does not talk. But to be honest, this is really a nitpick. this game is very solid. It's a very good game. I can see now why Sony decided to make it as one of its mascots during the PS2 era. If you haven't played the game, go and play it now. Now's a good time, seeing how there's a remastered edition including the other 2 games that I talked about earlier here. So, that being said, thanks for watching everyone, or better yet, thanks for listening everyone, and be safe till next time.